Hello everyone. I wanted to make a short video about my experience with mechanical keyboards in Quakeworld. Um, it seems like mechanical keyboards are very popular nowadays amongst gamers. I don't know if it's because the people who use them actually think that they are really good, or if it's just because of the aggressive advertising all over the place. Um, Why I want to make this video is because the mechanical keyboards that I have tried, which have been the Logitech G413 with their Roamer G switches, and then some other keyboard that I had with the Cherry MX Red switches, didn't work for me at all in Quake. The Roamer G switches were quite a lot better than the Red MX switches, but still nowhere near the level that I was able to achieve with a $20 keyboard. I tried to use the G413 for about a month, and I didn't use any other keyboard in the meanwhile, so I was really trying to get used to it, and I was hoping that it would start working for me in Quake, because I like the feel of the keyboard in a way. I mean, it's very sturdy. The build quality is really good. The cable is thick. It has the built-in USB port that I found very handy, but nope, it just didn't work for me. And what exactly didn't work for me was movement in Quake. I noticed it at first when I was just playing random 2-on-2 games, and it just felt like I wasn't able to, I don't know, change my direction as fast as I usually do, or gain speed as fast. And then I started trying different trick maps, and while I was able to finish most of the trick maps in Quakeworld, it wasn't as easy as with membrane keyboards. And also there was this one map in particular called Hoppa 2 that I had huge problems with, and I haven't had problems with the map in a decade, I think, before switching to a mechanical keyboard. So I was talking about this issue with some Quakeworld players, and then Dev, our Brazilian friend, told me the same. Like, he had similar experiences with his mechanical keyboards, and then we together, or I guess like separately, actually came up with the same idea to create a script that would somehow measure the mistakes we make while moving in Quake. And I initially came up with this idea because there is a certain command in EasyQuake client called cl_idrive. You can't use this command with proper rule sets, which are Smackdown and QuakeCon, because it's considered to be a cheat. And what this command does is that normally when you press strafe left and strafe right at the same time, you will stop. And what this means while moving around in Quake while bunny hopping is that every time you do it, you lose a bit of speed, depending on how long you keep those buttons pressed simultaneously. So I noticed that with the mechanical keyboard, I was able to pass this difficult map for me, the Hoppa 2, if I used this iDrive 1. But without the iDrive, I had huge problems. So what the script does, that Dev made by the way, is that it counts the number of times you press both strafe buttons simultaneously. And now what I did, I selected an easier map, It's this called zjumps. I can show you how it looks. I hope I can pass it. It's not a super difficult map, and I chose it on purpose not to be the most difficult one, because this maybe represents better the typical bunny hopping in Quakeworld. So it's a simple map like this. So what I did was that I took the two keyboards that I had, the Logitech G413 with the roamer G switches and the Logitech K120, which has normal membrane switches. Then I ran the script that dev made that counts the number of times you press the strafe button simultaneously. I jumped through the map 10 times with each keyboard, wrote down the number of mistakes I made with each successful try, and there you go, compared those numbers. And the numbers were quite brutal for the roamer G. Just a second, I will find them here. I can post a link in the video description later, so you can take a look at them yourself. But over 10 tries or over 10 successful attempts with the K120, the membrane keyboard, I made 7.7 mistakes on average. The highest count was 14 and the lowest was 3. And with the Logitech G413, the roamer G keyboard, on average I made 31.5 mistakes. The highest one being 35 and the lowest 27. So I don't know, the results were quite even over the 10 tries, especially with the roamer G switches, ranging from 27 to 35. Sorry, 36 is there actually, that is the highest. Well, anyway, from 27 to 36. So the variation is not very big, but overall it's over 4 times worse than the cheap membrane switch, at least for me. However, this is not a perfect test for it, because what would be more interesting would be to be able to measure the time instead of the count. So, like, we would want to have the total time we press those strafe buttons simultaneously and compare those total times, but that would require some changes to the client, and no one coded such changes yet, so here we are, stuck with the counts. But anyway, I think this at least gives us some idea, like one way to compare how much better this membrane keyboard is for me. Dev didn't quite go through this kind of testing, but he was, because he had already sold his mechanical keyboard, because he just realized that it's not working for him. But anyway, he has been testing this as well as Blood Dog made some very quick tests after he bought the same membrane keyboard that I have now for $9, and he also confirmed that it's so much easier not to make the mistakes on a membrane keyboard than it is with the mechanical one. So I guess that's pretty much it. I will post a link or attach a link to the test results as well as the script that Dev made, if he allows me to. And also I will post a link to an article written by Chast NVC, where he talks about mechanical keyboards, and I think maybe touches some of the issues I'm having, at least with mechanical keyboards, and I think other people as well. And I'm not trying to tell anyone not to use mechanical keyboards. It seems like many people prefer them for typing, although I don't. And apparently, I guess someone likes them in gaming and someone thinks that they are better in gaming as well. I can't believe that it would be only because of advertisements. But who knows? Well, anyway, that's it. Check the results and try the script for yourself. I mean, if you have a mechanical keyboard and happen to have an old membrane keyboard somewhere lying around, go and test it. I mean, maybe you just accepted the fact that the mechanical one is better because it's more expensive and fancier, but it wasn't, at least for me. So let me know how like how they work for you, and especially if you run the script and can post some results. I would be very curious to hear. All right, thank you and goodbye.